Captain Ju Park stood on the bridge of the Terran battleship Defiance, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Red dots swarmed across the screen. The Vortex invasion fleet closing in on Earth's last defensive line. The ship shuddered as another blast struck the shields. "Shield integrity at 30%, Captain," reported her navigation officer, his voice steady despite the dire situation. Ju nodded, her face showing no fear, though she knew what was coming. For 200 years, humanity had fought the Vortex, an alien species intent on claiming Earth and its resources. Now the war was ending, not with humanity's victory, but with its fall. "All remaining ships, focus fire on the lead destroyer," she ordered. The few surviving human vessels responded, concentrating their weapons on a single target. A brief flash of light marked their small victory as one Vortex ship exploded. But for every enemy they destroyed, 5 more took its place. The Vortex had numbers on their side, and humanity's forces had been stretched too thin, defending colonies across the solar system. One by one, those colonies had fallen. Mars, Europa, the mining stations of the asteroid belt, all gone. Another hit rocked the Defiance. Sparks flew from a control panel as crew members rushed to contain the damage. "Captain, hull breach on decks 5 through 8. We can't take much more," her second-in-command said. Ju looked around at her crew. Tired, determined faces that had fought alongside her for years. They were the last organized military resistance Earth had left. And soon, they would be gone too. She touched the small metal box hanging from a chain around her neck. Inside was a single key, the activation code for Protocol Lazarus, the last resort plan that military leadership had created a century ago, when they first realized the war might not be winnable. Ju had never wanted to use it. The soldiers of the Frost Legion weren't just enhanced humans, they were something else entirely. Created using technology that pushed the boundaries of ethics and science, they had been deemed too unpredictable, too dangerous to deploy except in humanity's final hour. That hour had come. "Send a message to all remaining ships," she ordered. "Continue fighting to the last. Give them everything we've got." As her communications officer complied, Ju stepped away to a secure terminal and inserted her key. The screen prompted her for a voice authorization code. "Captain Ju Park, Terran Defense Force. Authorization code Phoenix 790. Activate Protocol Lazarus." The computer processed her command. "Warning. Protocol Lazarus will initiate revival sequence for Frost Legion units. This action cannot be reversed. Confirm." Ju took a deep breath. Confirmed. The message sent, and thousands of miles away, deep beneath the Antarctic ice, ancient machinery hummed to life. In a vast chamber untouched by human hands for a century, rows of cryostasis pods began their warming sequence. Inside each pod lay a soldier, genetically enhanced, neurologically rewired, no longer fully human. On the Defiance, another hit sent Ju stumbling against the wall. The lights flickered and died, replaced by the red glow of emergency systems. "Captain, engines are down. Life support failing," reported an officer, blood trickling from a cut on his forehead. "All hands to escape pods," Ju ordered, her voice calm despite the chaos around her. "What about you, Captain?" her second-in-command asked. "I'll make sure the self-destruct sequence initiates. No sense giving the Vortex a functional battleship to study. Now go." As her crew rushed to obey, Ju returned to the tactical display. The red dots of the Vortex fleet had surrounded Earth completely. On the surface, their ground forces were already landing, meeting whatever resistance the planet's remaining defenders could muster. It wouldn't be enough, but perhaps the Frost Legion would be. Ju remembered the briefings about these super soldiers. Enhanced strength that could tear through metal. Accelerated healing that could repair even severe injuries in hours. Mental processing speeds that made them tactical geniuses, and a neural network that let them function as both individuals and a collective. They had been created as humanity's ultimate weapon and ultimate safeguard. When the scientists realized how powerful their creations had become, fear had led to the decision to put them in stasis, to be awakened only if all else failed. The ship rocked again, more violently this time. Warning alarms blared throughout the bridge. Hull integrity critical. Structural collapse imminent, the computer announced. Jumu moved to the command console and entered her final codes, activating the ship's self-destruct sequence. Then she sat in her captain's chair and closed her eyes. In her mind, she saw the ice base far below Earth's surface. She imagined the cryopods opening, frost melting away as the Legion awakened. Would they remember their purpose? Would they still fight for a humanity that had feared them enough to lock them away? They had to. They were Earth's last hope. The bridge erupted in flame as a direct hit breached the remaining shields. As the Defiance began to break apart around her, Juu's thoughts were not of her own end, but of what would come after. Under the Antarctic ice, the first cryopod completed its warming cycle. Inside, Commander Dong-Hyun Lee's eyes snapped open, alert and aware immediately. The neural download had already updated him on humanity's situation as he slept. He knew what had happened. He knew why he had been awakened. And he knew what he and his Legion had to do. As the Defiance exploded in orbit, becoming one final bright star in Earth's night sky, the Frost Legion began to rise. The ice cracked like thin glass as Commander Taho Kim's eyes opened for the first time in a century. His breath formed small clouds inside the cryopod as the lid slowly lifted. Frost fell from his eyelashes as he blinked, his mind already racing with information. "Status report," he said, his voice rough from disuse. No human technician answered. Only the automated system responded. Revival process complete. Neural interface active. Data transfer at 100%. Taho sat up, feeling no disorientation or muscle weakness that should have come after decades of inactivity. His enhanced body had maintained itself perfectly during stasis. As he stepped out of the pod, the cold Antarctic air felt merely refreshing against his skin. The images flooded his mind through the neural interface. Earth's cities in ruins, colonies on Mars and Europa fallen, the Terran Defense Force making its last stand in orbit. Then the final transmission. Protocol Lazarus activated by Captain Juu Park of the Defiance before her ship was destroyed. Taho closed his eyes for a moment. Humanity was on the edge of extinction. That was why they had been awakened. "Legion status?" he asked. "Revival sequence proceeding as planned. First wave at 97% completion." The system responded. Around him, other cryopods were opening. Men and women with the same focused expressions emerged, each receiving the same devastating update through their neural interfaces. None showed shock or distress. They had been created for this scenario, humanity's darkest hour. Taho felt a familiar sensation as the Legion's shared consciousness network activated. His mind connected with those of his fellow soldiers, forming a collective awareness while maintaining his individual identity. Through this link, he could sense hundreds of others awakening, their thoughts and tactical assessments merging with his own. "Commander Kim," the voice called. Hejum stepped forward, his second in command. "The armory is intact. Weapons systems operational." Taho nodded. "Gather the squad leaders. We need to assess our capabilities before engaging the enemy." In the central chamber of the underground facility, Taho stood before the first 50 awakened soldiers. They were dressed in simple black uniforms, their bodies seemingly ordinary, but housing remarkable enhancements. "The Vortex believe they've won," Taho said. "They believe humanity is finished. They're wrong." He activated the holographic display showing Earth's current status. Red markers indicated Vortex occupation across most major cities. "Our mission is clear. Reclaim Earth, eliminate the Vortex threat, and ensure humanity's survival." One of the soldiers, Minji, stepped forward. "Commander, preliminary testing indicates our capabilities have increased during stasis." "Explain," Taho ordered. The nanites in our bloodstream continued to optimize our systems while we slept. Strength has increased by 30% above pre-stasis levels. Regeneration is 40% faster. Neural processing has developed new pathways. This was unexpected but welcome news. The Legion had already been formidable before. Now, they were something even more. To test this, Tahoe approached a steel support beam. With one focused strike, his fist punched through the metal like it was clay. He felt no pain, only the satisfaction of confirmed data. "The vortex won't be expecting us," he said, examining his unmarked hand as the small cuts healed instantly. Their intelligence indicated all super soldier programs were abandoned decades ago. Through their shared consciousness, he could feel the others testing their abilities too. Hajun lifted a cargo container that would normally require machinery to move. Minji calculated complex battle scenarios in seconds, her mind working faster than the most advanced computers of the pre-war era. Most impressive was their collective thinking. As one soldier discovered something, all others immediately knew it. They functioned as individuals but thought as one perfect unit. "Why were we feared?" asked a younger soldier named Shono, who had been one of the last created before the program was suspended. "Why did they put us in stasis if they knew this day might come?" Tahoe remembered the fear in the scientists' eyes when they realized what they had created. Beings that might replace them, that could think and act with perfect coordination, that could dominate through sheer biological superiority. "They feared what they didn't understand," Tahoe answered. "But now, their fear doesn't matter. Only their survival does." He activated another display, showing the scattered human resistance groups still fighting across the planet. Small, disorganized, but still fighting. "We have 7 days to prepare before we make contact with the surface. We'll use that time to reach full strength and develop our battle strategy." Through the neural network, Tahoe felt the collective agreement, and something else. A hunger for purpose. They had been created as weapons, then locked away. Now, finally, they would fulfill their function. In the training chamber, Tahoe watched as pairs of soldiers fought at speeds no normal human could follow. Their movements were fluid, precise, lethal. Their enhanced bodies could withstand impacts that would kill ordinary humans instantly. "The Vortex have never faced anything like us," Hajun said, joining him. "No," Tahoe agreed. "They think they're hunting the last humans. They don't realize they've become the hunted." That night, as more pods opened and more minds joined their collective consciousness, Tahoe stood alone in the facility's observation dome, looking up at the thick ice above that separated them from the surface. Soon, they would emerge and begin their mission. The fate of the human species rested on them, beings that were both more and less than human. "We were created for this moment," he said to himself, his breath frosting in the cold air. "And we will not fail." In the darkness of the Antarctic facility, thousands of enhanced soldiers prepared for war. The last hope of humanity had awakened, and they were stronger than ever before. The Vortex Patrol moved through the ruins of Seoul, their 6-legged forms casting long shadows in the setting sun. 4 soldiers and their commander swept the area for any signs of human resistance, though they expected to find none. It had been 3 months since they declared victory over Earth's forces. "This sector is clear," reported one soldier, the translator at its throat converting alien speech to human language, a mockery of the culture they had conquered. Their commander, bearing the marks of many successful campaigns, clicked in approval. "Good. The settlement nearby has been peaceful. Perhaps these humans have finally accepted their place." None of them noticed the shadow moving across the rooftops above them. In a blur of motion, a figure dropped silently behind the rear guard. Before the alien could react, strong hands snapped its neck with surgical precision. The figure, a woman in dark tactical gear, dragged the body into the shadows and was gone. Moments later, the commander noticed the missing soldier. "Sector 7, report," it demanded. Silence replied. Another soldier disappeared from view. Then another. The commander drew its weapon, clicking in alarm. "Show yourself." Tahoe Kim stepped into the open street, unarmed and alone. His black uniform bore no insignia, his face calm as he faced the alien commander. "What are you?" the Vortex demanded, weapon trained on Tahoe's chest. "I am the consequence of your invasion," Tahoe replied. The commander fired. The energy blast hit Tahoe square in the chest, burning through his uniform. He staggered back a step, then straightened. The smoking wound began to close before the alien's compound eyes. The Vortex never got a chance to fire again. Tahoe moved with impossible speed, crossing the distance between them in a heartbeat. His enhanced strength crushed the alien's exoskeleton with a single blow. Throughout the city, similar scenes played out as the Frost Legion made their first coordinated strike against the occupying forces. By morning, not a single Vortex soldier remained alive in Seoul. "First contact successful," reported Hejun, kneeling beside Tahoe in their hidden command post. "All teams report mission completion with minimal damage." The Vortex never got a distress signal out. Tahoe nodded, reviewing the data flowing through their shared neural network. The Legion had simultaneously struck 12 Vortex outposts across 3 continents. Perfect coordination through their hive-like consciousness had allowed them to eliminate all targets without alerting the broader Vortex command. "The wound to your chest?" Hejun asked. "Healed," Tahoe replied. "They're using standard plasma weapons. Painful, but not particularly effective against our enhanced healing." Their conversation was interrupted by Minji entering the command post. "Commander, we've located human survivors 3 kilometers east. A hidden settlement of approximately 200 people." Tahoe stood. "I'll make contact myself." The human settlement was hidden beneath the ruins of an old shopping mall, its entrance disguised as rubble. As Tahoe approached alone, he was met by armed guards, ordinary humans with determination in their eyes and outdated weapons in their hands. "Stop right there," ordered a woman with a weathered face and a shotgun aimed at his chest. Tahoe raised his hands. "I'm human. I'm here to help." The woman's eyes narrowed. "No human moves like you do. We saw you take down those Vortex yesterday. What are you?" "My name is Commander Tahoe Kim. I'm part of a military project called the Frost Legion. We were placed in stasis before the war turned against humanity." "Prove you're human," she demanded. Tahoe slowly reached into his pocket and removed a tattered photograph, himself with the original scientific team, taken a century ago. "We were created to save humanity in its darkest hour. That hour has come." The woman studied the photo, then his face. "I'm Zoe, leader of this settlement." She lowered her weapon slightly. "You said we. How many of you are there?" "Thousands," Tahoe answered truthfully. Zoe's eyes widened. For the first time in years, hope flickered in them, but also fear. Inside the settlement, Tahoe saw the reality of human survival under Vortex occupation. Children who had never known peace, elderly who remembered Earth before the war, all living in cramped conditions with limited resources. "We've been fighting small battles for years," Zoe explained as they walked. "Sometimes we win. Mostly we hide. The Vortex are too many." "Not anymore," Tahoe said. "The Legion is awakened now. We'll reclaim Earth." An old man approached them, studying Tahoe with knowing eyes. "I recognize what you are," he said quietly. "I worked in military research before the fall. The Super Soldier program. It was shut down because they couldn't control what they created." Tahoe met his gaze steadily. "We were created to save humanity." "At what cost?" the old man asked. "You're not fully human anymore. Your kind was designed to win at any cost." Before Tahoe could answer, alarms sounded throughout the settlement. A young scout ran in, panic on his face. Vortex dropships. At least 5 of them heading this way. So he turned to Tahoe. "They must have tracked you here." "No," Tahoe said, his mind connecting with the Legion network. "They're conducting a random sweep. But they'll find you now." "We have to evacuate," Zoe began. No time, Tahoe said. He activated his communicator. Hejun, I need a strike team at my location immediately. The team is already moving, Commander, came the reply. We felt your concern through the network. So he looked at him strangely. Felt your concern. We share a connected consciousness, Tahoe explained. It allows us to coordinate perfectly. Fear mixed with the hope in her eyes. Like a hive mind. Are you even individuals anymore? We are both, Tahoe said simply. And right now, we are your only chance. When the Vortex dropships landed, they expected to find helpless humans to round up or eliminate. Instead, they found the Frost Legion waiting. The battle was brief and devastating. Tahoe led the attack himself, his team moving with impossible speed and strength. They tore through Vortex armor with their bare hands. Energy weapons that should have been lethal merely slowed them down as their bodies rapidly healed. From the safety of their bunker, the human settlers watched through security cameras as these strange super soldiers, human but not quite human, decimated the alien forces that had oppressed them for years. They're monsters, whispered one settler. They're our monsters, Zoe replied. And right now, that's exactly what we need. When it was over, Tahoe returned to the settlement. His uniform torn and bloodied, but his body already healed. Your people are safe for now, he told Zoe. But this location is compromised. We need to move them to our secure facility. And then what? She asked. Then we continue what we started today, Tahoe said. We take back our world, one battle at a time. As the settlers prepared to leave their home, they looked at their saviors with a complex mixture of emotions, gratitude and hope, but also unease. The Frost Legion had been created to save humanity, but their power and otherness inspired as much fear as relief. Tahoe understood their reaction. The Legion was humanity's last hope, and a reminder of how far humans have been willing to go to survive. Smoke rose from the abandoned military base in the Rocky Mountains as Tahoe Kim stood over the disassembled Vortex ship. His hands moved with precision as he examined the alien power core, understanding its principles almost instantly thanks to his enhanced cognitive abilities. The conversion process is at 80%, reported Minji, who stood nearby managing a team of Legion engineers. We should have the first 5 ships operational within 48 hours. Tahoe nodded, his mind simultaneously processing the ship schematics and receiving updates from Legion teams worldwide through their shared neural network. In just 3 months since their awakening, they had established 6 major bases across Earth and liberated thousands of human survivors. What about the weapons systems? He asked. Better than we hoped, Minji replied. Once we understood the basic principles, we were able to improve them. Our ships will be faster and more powerful than standard Vortex vessels. The Legion's ability to master alien technology had surprised even them. Their enhanced brains could analyze and reverse engineer Vortex systems in days, rather than the years it would have taken pre-war human scientists. What began as captured weapons had evolved into an arsenal that could challenge the invaders directly. Hejun entered the hangar, his normally stoic face showing rare excitement. Commander, we've intercepted Vortex communications. They're gathering a fleet near Mars, planning a major assault to eliminate our resistance once and for all. They still don't understand what they're facing, Tahoe said. They think we're just another human resistance group. Should we wait for their attack? Asked Hejun. Tahoe's lips curved in a slight smile. No. We'll take the fight to them. The Vortex command station orbiting Mars was considered impregnable. Protected by a fleet of battleships and advanced defense systems, it coordinated all alien operations in the inner solar system. Its commander, Supreme Executor Vezak, had personally overseen the final assault on Earth's defenses. Now Vezak stood in the control center, its compound eyes fixed on the emergency reports flooding in from Earth. Impossible, it clicked to its subordinates. Humans lack the capacity to reverse engineer our technology so quickly. The tactical officer's mandibles quivered nervously. The data is clear. Supreme Executor. These humans are different. Their attack patterns show intelligence beyond normal human capacity, and the recovered bodies of our soldiers show they were killed by bare hands, strong enough to puncture our armor. Vazek dismissed this with an angry hiss. Prepare the fleet. We will crush whatever remains of human resistance with overwhelming force. An alarm blared through the command center. The tactical display showed new contacts approaching. Ships using vortex engine signatures, but moving in patterns no vortex would use. Enemy vessels approaching. They're using our own ships against us. Vazek barely had time to issue orders before the first explosions rocked the station. Tahoe stood on the bridge of the captured and modified vortex destroyer, now renamed Defiance in honor of Captain Park's fallen ship. Through the view screen, he watched as the Legion fleet engaged the surprised vortex forces. Their defensive formations are breaking, reported Hejun from the tactical station. They didn't expect an attack here. The Legion ships moved with perfect coordination, each captain connected through their shared consciousness. They anticipated vortex maneuvers before they happened, countering with precision strikes that disabled rather than destroyed when possible. Begin boarding operations on the command station, Tahoe ordered. Priority is securing prisoner areas and gathering intelligence. He felt the familiar sense of the Legion mind. Thousands of enhanced soldiers thinking together while maintaining individual control. Through this network, he knew exactly when the boarding teams breached the station, could feel their movements as they fought through vortex defenders. Minji, commanding the boarding operation, sent images directly to his mind, not through technology, but through their shared consciousness. The station contained cells holding hundreds of human prisoners, scientists, military personnel, and civilians captured during the final days of the war, kept alive for study or labor. We've found something else. Minji's voice echoed in his thoughts. Diplomatic communications. The Vortex have been negotiating with other alien species, offering Earth resources in exchange for non-interference. This confirmed what they had suspected. The Vortex weren't alone in the galaxy, and other species had known about humanity's plight, but chosen to do nothing. 3 hours later, the battle was over. The Martian command station and 4 Vortex battleships had been captured intact. The rest of the alien fleet had retreated deeper into the solar system. In what had once been the Supreme Executor's chamber, Tahoe reviewed the intelligence they had gathered. Star charts showed dozens of inhabited systems within reach. Communications logs revealed 7 major species that had diplomatic relations with the Vortex. Most importantly, they had found the location of the main Vortex fleet, stationed near Jupiter's moons, preparing for what they believed would be the final assault to exterminate the remaining humans. Zoe, now serving as representative for Earth's surviving non-enhanced humans, stood beside him reviewing the data. "These other aliens," she said, pointing to the diplomatic logs. "They just watched while the Vortex nearly wiped us out. They believed we were finished." Tahoe replied. "Now they'll be reassessing that conclusion." As if confirming his words, a communication alert sounded. The signal wasn't from Earth or any Vortex channel. "We're receiving a transmission," Hejun reported. "It's using an unknown protocol, but our systems can translate it." The screen lit up showing an alien face, neither human nor Vortex, but a being with silvery skin and large, intelligent eyes. "I speak for the Alteran Confederation," the alien said in precisely translated speech. "We have observed your victory at Mars. The Vortex claimed humanity was defeated, yet you fight with unexpected strength. We wish to establish dialogue." Tahoe exchanged glances with Zoe. The galactic landscape was shifting. Other species that had written off humanity were now taking notice of the Legion's capabilities, some with interest, others surely with concern. "Tell them we will meet," Tahoe decided. "But first, we have a war to finish." As the newly expanded Legion fleet prepared to launch toward Jupiter, word spread throughout the solar system. Humanity hadn't fallen. It had evolved into something new, something formidable. And the Frost Legion was taking back what belonged to Earth, one planet at a time. The message was clear to both the Vortex and the watching galaxy. Underestimating humanity had been their first and greatest mistake. The last Vortex ship fled beyond the orbit of Pluto, its engines straining as it escaped Earth's solar system. On the bridge of the Legion flagship, Taiho watched the enemy vessel disappear from their scanners. After 9 months of relentless warfare, the solar system belonged to humanity once again. "Should we pursue?" asked Hejun, standing at Taiho's side. Taiho shook his head. "Let them go. Let them carry the message of their defeat back to their homeworld." The victory celebration lasted 3 days across the reclaimed colonies on Mars, Europa, and Earth. Humans who had lived under Vortex control for years now walked freely under open skies. The Frost Legion had accomplished their mission. Humanity was saved. But as the celebrations quieted, reality set in. In the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Legion leadership gathered to face a truth they had all known but ignored during the war. "The cellular degradation is accelerating," Minji reported, displaying the medical scans on the main screen. "As designed, our enhanced bodies are breaking down now that our primary mission is complete. Even with our improved regeneration, the best estimate gives us 5 years before complete system failure." Silence fell across the room. The Legion had been designed as weapons with built-in expiration dates, a fail-safe created by scientists who feared what they might become if left unchecked. "We knew this day would come," Taiho said finally. "We were never meant to outlive our purpose." Hejun's face showed rare emotion. "Is that all we are? Weapons to be discarded after use?" The question hung in the air, challenging the very foundation of their existence. Later that night, Taiho stood alone on a mountainside, looking down at the lights of a rebuilt human settlement in the valley below. Through the Legion's shared consciousness, he could feel the same questions troubling all his soldiers. What now? What were they if not warriors? What place did weapons have in a time of peace? He heard footsteps behind him and turned to see Zoe approaching. "The council meeting finished," she said. "They're calling you a hero. They want to build monuments to the Legion." "Monuments are for the dead," Taiho replied. Zoe studied his face. "Minji told me about the degradation. Is there nothing that can be done? It was part of our design. Insurance that we couldn't outlive our usefulness and potentially threaten normal humans." "That's not right," Zoe said firmly. "After everything you've sacrificed." "It was the purpose we were created for," Taiho interrupted. "And now you've fulfilled that purpose," she countered. "Doesn't that earn you the right to find a new one?" The question followed Taiho as he returned to the Legion's medical facility. There he found Minji still working, surrounded by genetic data and research salvaged from Vortex laboratories. "You should rest," he told her. "I'm close to something," she replied without looking up. The Vortex were conducting experiments on human genetics. They were trying to understand what makes us so adaptable as a species. "Did they find anything useful?" "Better," Minji said, finally meeting his eyes. "They found something remarkable. Human DNA has potential they couldn't unlock, but we might be able to." 3 days later, Taiho presented a proposal to the Human Leadership Council that left them stunned into silence. "You want to enhance normal humans, make them like you?" asked the council head, an older man named Jinmu. "Not exactly like us," Taiho explained. "We've identified the flaws in our design, the cellular degradation, the occasionally overwhelming hive mind. We can create a better version, one that keeps our advantages but eliminates the problems." "You're talking about changing what it means to be human," argued another council member. "Humanity has always evolved," Taiho replied calmly. "When faced with extinction, we created the Legion. Now we can take the next step, not out of desperation, but by choice." Zoe, who sat on the council as a survivor representative, leaned forward. "Would this process help the Legion too? Cure your degradation?" "Yes," Taiho admitted. "By incorporating stable human DNA with our enhanced genetics, we could create a sustainable balance, We would lose some of our more extreme capabilities, but gain longevity. So this benefits you, Jinwoo noted. It benefits us all, Tahoe said. The vortex are gone, but they won't be the last threat humanity faces. The galaxy is watching us now. Some with interest, others with fear. We need to be ready. The debate raged for weeks among the human survivors. Some saw the Legion's proposal as salvation, a chance to ensure humanity would never again face extinction. Others viewed it as the final step away from what made them human in the first place. In the end, they reached a compromise. The enhancement would be offered as a choice, not mandated. Those who wished to remain unchanged could do so. Those who wanted the modifications would receive them. 6 months later, the first procedures began. The process was refined with each volunteer until the balance was perfected. Enhanced strength and healing without the cellular degradation. Improved mental capacity without losing individuality. A limited form of shared consciousness that could be activated when needed but didn't overwhelm the person's private thoughts. Tahoe was among the last to undergo the procedure, watching as his Legion slowly transformed from pure weapons into something new. Neither fully the super soldiers they had been nor the humans they had protected, but a bridge between both. 1 year after the Vortex defeat, the Alteran diplomatic vessel entered Earth orbit. Their representatives were greeted by a delegation that included both enhanced and unmodified humans, a united front despite their differences. The Alteran ambassador, Self, studied Tahoe with large, curious eyes. "We monitored your war against the Vortex. Many believed humanity would not survive. Many were wrong," Tahoe replied simply. "And now you have changed yourselves," Zelth observed. "The other species are concerned. Some suggest you might become as aggressive as the Vortex." Zoe, now partially enhanced herself, stepped forward. "We evolved to survive. But unlike the Vortex, we don't seek conquest, only security and knowledge." As the diplomatic talks continued, ships from other alien civilizations arrived in the solar system, some seeking alliances, others monitoring with caution. All had written off humanity as a lost cause during the Vortex War. All now reassessed that conclusion. On the rebuilt observation deck of what had once been the Antarctic facility, Tahoe and Hejun watched Earth's first true interstellar trading vessel prepare for launch. "Do you ever regret it?" Hejun asked. "The changes, the compromises?" Tahoe considered this. His body was no longer the perfect weapon it had been. Though still far stronger than any pre-war human, the overwhelming Legion consciousness had softened to a gentler connection he could access when needed. "We were created to ensure humanity's survival," he answered finally. "We've done more than that. We ensured its evolution." As the ship launched toward the stars, carrying the first human ambassadors to distant worlds, the message spread across the galaxy. Humanity doesn't fall. It adapts, it evolves, and it returns stronger than before. The end.